coming out. This was like this absurd idea that Flirt and I had for a show, and we've been doing it in Philly, and we had this pipe dream that maybe people in other cities might also want to see butts and also learn stuff. So, let me know. I appreciate it. Alright, so we're gonna get this party poppin', and yes, this content warning for this speech. So, again, my name is Dr. Shimmery. I'm a sexuality educator, and I use social media in doing sexuality education. It's always been exciting. It has gotten more exciting recently, in the last year, so we're gonna talk a little bit about why. The next slide will show you several images that are reasons I have been in Facebook jail. These are all fun. I just want to preface this with, this is not the same thing as freedom of speech, and I understand that websites can set whatever rules they want to, so let me just get that out of the way. But we do need to talk about how FOSTA SESTA has impacted sexuality content online, among other things. If you're not already familiar, I implore you to go look it up. The folks who are most adversely affected by FOSTA SESTA are sex workers. It makes their jobs more difficult and dangerous, but everybody is affected by this, whether you're on social media or not, especially as it regards to nudity or sexuality content. So let's go specifically into the major platforms of social media, based on the most popular ones. So if you go onto Twitter, you can still find some nudity, you can still find some videos of fucking, but for the most part, it's banned across the rest of the platforms. Tumblr used to be a bastion of sex-positive, queer, pleasure-focused content up until December 17th, and now, no more dicks. The adult content is now banned on Tumblr. Shockingly, use has tumbled 30%. You can still find white supremacists on there, so fuck Tumblr. When it comes to Facebook, they have always been overtly and aggressively a non-nudity platform. This is an image that was posted by the Philadelphia Museum of Art Facebook page. It got them taken down. There's not even nudity in it! But since the updated community standards of Facebook, you can now get banned for saying things like your partner preferences, describing sexual roles, or even using the phrase looking for a good time tonight because it's too close to solicitation. That is the level of censorship, and is going to most adversely affect sexual minorities, of course, because our sexual content is inherently somehow much more dangerous. And we're also taking down sexuality education pages. So all that's left is porn, which basically leaves kids to learn about sex from porn, which is like learning about driving from Fast and the Furious. How about hate speech? Theoretically, it's banned across all the platforms, but that actually depends on enforcement. If you've been on Twitter, you know there are still too many fucking Nazis. But what if you are too racist even for Twitter? Don't worry, you still have Gab. There are people that post on there prior to committing hate crimes, including shooting up a synagogue. They finally banned their first person, though, for making a threat of violence recently, so possible growth opportunity there. What about Facebook? You can't say things about classes of people, so you can't say men are garbage, but you can say things about subsets, like black children or women drivers. That's fine. You can't use slurs even if you are reappropriating them, they're used against you, but you can deny the Holocaust happened. So the ultimate effect is it sustains all these systems of oppression because it has no context for it. What about violence? Well, again, theoretically banned across all of the platforms, but that's a matter of enforcement, and it is much harder to find violence by an algorithm than it is to find nudity, which is why when we look into the enforcement data from Facebook, we see that violence is what people are most likely to report. What is most likely to get taken down is nudity. And that also speaks to the fact that none of us fucking voted on the community standards. So, just to bring it to that larger question of whose standards are these, and what are we maintaining through the system? Most importantly is how political speech has been banned, especially across Facebook. They have been taking down overtly political pages, and they admit they have a 1 in 10 false positive rates. So if you're an organization that doesn't have a ton of resources, if you're not elite, if you're not a government, that has a chilling, silencing effect. And perhaps most insidious of all of the political speech that's been censored, Facebook is working with repressive regimes in order to continue to have access to their citizens as customers. So for instance, if you criticize Turkey's Erdogan, you are labeled a terrorist, your account is taken down. That has chilling effects whether you are on social media or not. that has chilling effects far outside of the borders where Facebook is even allowed. So it is important that we discuss like how this is beyond the reach of governmental control in many ways. So what can we do? First of all, be mindful about our social media usage, being more conscientious. Pay for the news and journalism that you want to see in the world. Woo! And also, activism. So vote for people who give a shit about this, and if you give a shit about this, run for office. Also, on Mondays, I post nudity on my website, Sex with Timmery. So if you want to go see some nudity, head on over there tomorrow. So thank you so much for your time and for supporting us today.